I don't feel well today. Y'all know that. I look shiny, but I have come to give you Rachel Dolezal. Dojal? Who cares? Basically, she's crazy. She's crazy. I watched the documentary. I sat here for just about 2 hours watching the documentary, and who has the time? Who has the time is where I am with that. Rachel needs a therapist. She needs a therapist, and that's basically just that. Like, that's the end of it. Like, we went through a whole to-do, and so Rachel, growing up was difficult for her, apparently. Her birth was hard on her mother, and her mother resented her for making the birth so difficult, I guess, or whatever, and kind of mistreated Rachel. Now, Rachel has an older brother. They favored him and all of that. So she was mistreated. Her parents then adopted 4, I think it was, black children. And honestly, what I gathered from this is Rachel identified with those black children because she was mistreated by her parents. And those children also were mistreated by her parents. So she took that to mean, I am black. She tells these tales of her, coloring as a child and using the brown crayon instead of the white one to color herself. But girl, you can't really, when you're coloring, the white crayon don't do much. You wanted a crayon that was going to show up, honestly. But she went on to discuss how her parents, and even her sister was, actually, I think all but one of her siblings made an appearance in this documentary, but her sister was telling how the parents used to beat her, and she had whelps and even scars, and apparently they got her, and maybe just her, but I'm not sure, from Africa, and in South Africa or wherever, they were beating the babies, and then they were adopted into this family that also continued to beat the babies. And it's a gruesome story. It's a horrific story. Rachel's oldest son, I think his name is Isaiah, was adopted also by her parents, but she gained custody, and she said that when she gained custody he had all these whelps, bruises, scars on his back, and she just really couldn't take it. So she helped her younger sister escape. She gained custody of her brother, her oldest son, who was once her brother. And I don't know, what about the other 2 boys? I don't know. One of the boys, okay, so there were 4 black kids, I think, that were adopted by Rachel's parents. One of the boys is light-skinned, probably biracial. That boy, I'm not going to be able to do. I'm not going to be able to do. He is very much on the side of his parents. And what that leads me to believe is that he, the lighter-skinned brother, did not receive the same treatment as the darker-skinned siblings. That's what I took that from that. Basically, I don't see it for Rachel like that, but I can kind of see where she's going with it. Why am I so shiny? What is going on? I feel like I'm glistening. Anyway, I can see where she's going with it. That does not mean I agree. And what I'm not going to do is sit here and argue with anybody about transracialism versus transgender. I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to scooch right on by it. Transgender people can be people who are born in the wrong body. Transgender people also can be people who were born with the wrong body parts. There are people who have certain chromosomes, but their actual, genitalia does not match their chromosomes. There are cases of that, and that can also be that. There are people who are born with both. There are people who are born with none. And that also, when they pick one or the other, that can also be classified as transgender, which makes transgender a thing, an actual scientific thing. Transracial, I'm not gonna do it. Just because you feel black, does not make you black. And you cannot feel black without having gone through being black. You can say, I could call you today and say, well, girls, I'm feeling like a rich white woman, but I've never been a rich white woman. So, I could say I feel that way. On the inside, I'm a rich white woman. But having never been a rich white woman, I can only tell you that I feel like that's the closest thing to what I think I should be, not who I am. I'm not going to argue with none of y'all. I'm not going to do it. Y'all have a blessed one as far as that. I'm not doing it with you anyway. So I really feel like Rachel is, she's taking her empathy for her siblings and transferring it. She's transferring it. I got notes here and I'm trying to see. But basically, yeah, she transferred her empathy with, like, her identity, for the most part. The middle son is over it. He's over it. He's sick of it. He's tired. He just wants to be. He wants to go on and do his thing. Like, he don't feel like being bothered, harassed, none of that. So I really feel for him. Actually, I feel for both sons, because the oldest son is having difficulties getting into Howard because of Rachel. And it's like, what they got to do? Like, I understand that's his mama or whatever, but let the boy go to school. Like, the disrespect. Let me see if there's anything that I have not. Okay, yeah, the brother, the oldest brother, the white brother, Joshua. Josh was sexually assaulting his sisters, both of them actually. When Esther, I think is the younger sister's name. She told, and her parents said she was lying and carrying on, and somehow they made it to court. And Rachel then admitted that it also happened to her. And either her brother or her parents, or both, hired someone to discredit her, basically. And that's how this whole big story broke out, that, you know, she ain't who she says she is. The brother's trash. The brother is Josh is trash. And honestly, it's wrong the way they did both of the girls, but the way they did Rachel, like, girl, I'm not siding with her as far as being transracial, but blowing up that girl's life for telling that her brother did stuff to her is rude. Like, it's rude. I'm not here for that. Let me see. Apparently, her ex-husband wanted just a white wife, which is problematic within itself. And I really feel for that little boy, because both of his parents are problematic, because his daddy wanted a white wife and his mama don't want to be white. That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate for the little boy. What else? She had a baby in the documentary, and his name is Langston Addicks, which is a very, a very ethnic name. The good thing about this is that at least Rachel Dozal's children know their history, because if I walk into a colored establishment and say, okay, so who can tell me about Crispus Attucks? Not very many people can. That's one of the very first black people I learned about. My mother taught me about. As a little girl, I had to be like 3. So it's real cute that her children will know their history, not her history, but whatever. She had this baby, and in the hospital, she was saying that the baby in Washington has to be identified as what the mother identifies as, and, you know, if she checks white, then the baby will be white. And, you know, she doesn't feel white, but technically she is white, and she doesn't want to falsify documents and do. And she was going through this whole big to-do, and I'm like, well, niece, if you knew this, why didn't you just slide over and have the baby in another state? Like, I don't understand. And if you're so free to identify however you want, why you won't just let your baby identify as how he will eventually want to identify? Like, don't even put no pressure on what you done checked on the box, because what your mom and them checked on your birth certificate apparently doesn't apply. So why is it such a heavy thing for your child to have his box checked as white? Because your box is white and you don't rock with it, so I don't understand. Let's see. Another thing that came up in the documentary was the majority of Rachel's testimony as a black woman is based on her black sons. It's based on, you know, I have these black sons and I'm worried about them going outside and do, which is a very valid, real fear that white mothers of black children fear, as well as black mothers of black children and Asian mothers of black children, and anyone who has black children fear that. Sandra Bullock, with her 2 black kids, fears that. Angelina Jolie, I probably don't, because those children are on another plane. Ain't nobody even finna get to Zahara or whatever her name is. But the point is, you don't have to be black to fear that your black children are in danger. They just simply are. You can fear it as a white woman. But yeah, the majority of her testimony as a black woman was her children's struggles, and just mostly struggle, and not we black, we resilient, this is what we do, we popping, we lit, barbecue, like black people tend to do. We all face struggles, but we also, the majority of us come together as like, yeah, I mean, everybody racist, but we lit, that kind of thing. Rachel never really gave that. Everything about her is struggle, struggle, struggle. Harriet Tubman, let me put on this shawl and free the Negroes, my fellow Negroes. We are struggling, but we will be free. Like, girl, there are so many different facets of blackness. You ain't have to just sit right there with that. Anyway, girl, what else? She went to the reel and they told her about herself. Adrian Expressions was in the documentary. And what was not mentioned in the documentary, but was mentioned in, oh, Lord, I got a salt lamp, a Himalayan salt lamp here, and I just cracked a little piece of the salt off. Girl, get back on there. That's all right, we're going to sprinkle you over some chicken for dinner. Where was I? The piece, the main portion of I feel like it's just, anyway, the main portion that wasn't pictured in the documentary that I had hoped to see and expected to see was, there have been reports of her telling lighter-skinned black women that they aren't black enough and they need to not speak on certain things or do certain things. And as someone who may be classified as a light-skinned black woman, though I am brown, I'm dark-skinned, and you can't tell me otherwise. As someone who may be classified as a lighter-skinned person, and these are jokes, y'all. I know I'm light-skinned. Let's just not do the whole to-do. Ain't nobody got time. I've been told by other light-skinned people, actual light-skinned black people, to shut up and that my opinion isn't valid because I'm light-skinned. And it was a whole big to-do back in like 2015 on Tumblr, where the whole black community of Tumblr, it felt like, came against me because I said that light-skinned black people also face issues. Not saying that dark-skinned people don't. I just simply said that, yes, dark-skinned people have it terribly. Also, I suffered growing up, and I was invalidated. And me saying that I was invalidated caused loads and loads of black people on Tumblr to further try to invalidate me. Now, what you'll never do is take away my black identity, because I'm black. Like, you can't take it. It's me. But I found it odd that that wasn't talked about in the documentary at all, because I was ready to hear her side of it. her white think I'm black side of telling lighter-skinned black people that they should not say certain things or be certain ways or do certain things because they're lighter-skinned, and that just don't count. Like, girl. Anyway, her sons are very smart, the two that are walking and talking. I'm not sure about the baby. I'm sure he's also very smart. I just wouldn't know it. We haven't had a conversation. But the middle son, the younger of the older sons, was like, she decided to be black because she adopted my older brother, and he didn't want to feel adopted, and it wouldn't make sense for him to be the color that he is with a light-skinned mom, or a mom, Rachel's color. To that I say, Kenzo Lee, Kenzo Lee Hansu is a beautiful. Oh my God, that is a beautiful baby boy, or child now. He's a child, but Kenzo is Kimora Lee Simmons and Digimon, Diamond Hansu's son. Kimora is she's quite light. She is very, very light. She's half black, half Japanese, is it? And Diamond Hansu is not the darkest man on the face of the earth. I don't think he's even darker than Lance Gross, who is also a very delightful looking, gentle fellow. But Kenzo is his daddy's color. Kenzo is 100% brown, chocolatey, beautiful, beautiful baby boy. And his mama is extra super duper light. Like, so, I mean, it's possible. And honestly, girl, you shouldn't have to explain your children. Anyway, what else? Did I miss anything else? She changed her name to Nakaji at the end of the movie. And took down her twists and put on a kinky curly wig. But basically, yeah. Oh, hate crimes. She sent herself a bunch of hate mail, and that's really kind of what helped to blow this situation up. She just can't stop lying. She just can't quit. And with her being being unable to stop lying, is causing her some distress and discomfort, and that's unfortunate. But that's when you can't stop lying, you are doomed to an uncomfortable life. She has not lost a hair client. she out there doing her African braiding, and the girls are still coming over to get their hair did. And what I don't understand, girl, is you've taken all of this time to learn how to braid, kinky twist, and faux lock, and probably even lock, all this hair. But you still got to take your sons to the barbershop. Girl, if you don't get you some wall clippers, some Andis, or some Asta clippers, and line up those boys, because she was all distressed at the beginning of the documentary. She had to take the sons to the barbershop, and the barbershop owner didn't want her, out in front of the building because, don't nobody care for her like that. And I was like, girl, I understand you want your children to go outside and have these interactions, but if you're really that worried about it, cut his hair. cut their hair. Like, anyway, child. What else, girl? I think that's it. I don't really I feel like I've covered everything that I want to cover. It was interesting. I got bored at the 30-minute mark, but then it picked up, and then I got bored again at the hour mark, but I pressed on towards the end, so it'll do. It was a documentary. Like, it exists. It happened. I watched it, and these are my thoughts. So like, comment, subscribe, all the things the YouTubers say, and I'm gonna catch y'all after I eat, girl. I ain't had nothing. It's 5 o'clock. I ain't had nothing to eat or drink today, so I'm gonna quench some thirst and quell. Well, I'm not hungry, but I need to eat. I was gonna say quell some hunger, but ain't no hunger to quell. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, all the things the YouTubers say, and I will catch y'all whenever I get here, girl. I'm gonna call y'all back later, eventually, after a while. Peace.